of the NDC.
And maybe Christine, it has just reminded me of the kind of artists and the songs they were performing. They were of course, they were in line with the agenda of the meeting somehow.
Yes.
Because I remember you just said them.
X-ray, yes. Gengeton, yes.
Of course, you had the Kigegu song as
yes,
well.
of course.
So I just wonder, whoever planned actually this meeting must be well informed as well.
Of course, they had to, because I remember even the deputy president, while he was in his trip, 10-day trip to the UK and the US, I remember he also mentioned something about Sipangwingwi.
Sure.
Yes.
And of course, there was a little boy, remember, there was a little boy who had a poem.
Yes, it was very interesting.
The boy even asked the deputy president, Sinachua Pangwingwi?
Yeah.
Of course, I think.
And I think the title of the poem was Mr. Future President.
Yes, exactly.
That was a future president.
A future president from a very young, brilliant boy. Of course, that boy did it very well.
Very well. He was, and then I liked the courage that the young boy had.
And the confidence. And of course, I don't know how they get to master these things because he was so fluent. And of course, the poem was very clear. You can tell a word bit by bit. You can tell whatever he's saying.
He was audible enough.
Audible enough.
Yes.
Very fluent. Making a lot of sense.
And we move on, and still on the front page, we have ODM leader Raila Odinga meets UK minister. And this is a working tour, and just to quote what the Armed Forces Minister James Hippie said, we had a robust discussion on matters pertaining to security with a view to enhancing our ties moving into the future. And Azimio la Umoja presidential candidate Raila Odinga said of the talks with Armed Forces Minister James Hippie. This is a story on page 13 of the Daily Nation, and maybe just we have a look at that and see what to expect. Azimio la Umoja leader Raila Odinga yesterday held talks with the United Kingdom's Armed Forces Minister James Hippie. The talks took place on the second day of Mr. Odinga's first foreign engagement since he was named his coalition's presidential flag bearer. Mr. Odinga said his discussion with Mr. Hippie centered on security matters, given that the Kenya and the United Kingdom share a rich history in defense and also in security. And Mr. Raila Odinga was accompanied to the meeting by Kenya's Commissioner to the UK, Mr. Manoa Esipisu, Mombasa Governor Ali Hassan Joho, Gatanga Suna East MP, Junet Mohammed, and former Gatanga MP Peter Kenneth, and the Africa Union High Representative for Infrastructure Development said that he was keen on ensuring that Kenya and the UK continue to enjoy defense cooperation. This is a story on page 13 of the Daily Nation, so we can't miss also to see that. And this is a few days after the Deputy President was in the UK as well.
Of course.
Yes.
It comes as a few days after the Deputy President was in a 10-day tour in the US and UK as well.
UK, yeah.
Now the ODM party leader, that is Raila Odinga, is now in the UK for a 5-day trip. And the same story is on the front page of the Standard newspaper that says Raila UK officials talk of close ties. And it's a story that has been well broken down as well on the National page 9 that says Raila meets UK officials popular candidature. And of course, we have some of the expectations from the 5-day tour to the UK. That is the first one, of course, being that Mr. Odinga is today expected to meet Lord Tariq Ahmad, that is the UK Minister for South Asia, North Africa, the United Nations, and the Commonwealth at the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office. That is today. And of course, Mr. Raila Odinga as well will also deliver a talk at the Chatham House on his vision for Kenya and also have engagements on Kenya's democracy. We also have tomorrow, Mr. Odinga will meet Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby, at Lambeg Palace before winding up his tour by meeting Kenyans in the UK later in the day. Those are some of the expectations as from today, of course, today and tomorrow, as you'll be winding up his 5-day tour in the United Kingdom. And we have a punchline from the ODM leader that says the UK has been one as most loyal security partners. We had a robust discussion on enhancing our ties. A story on the National page 9 of the Standard newspaper.
And now remember, our social media platform is always open for you. You can join in the conversation or tell us your views or how you are enjoying the show this morning at SHANI TV on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, and on Instagram.
And our platform number as well is available for you. Actually, it's for you to use it. And of course, the number is 0706 083 050. You can join in our conversations this morning every time, of course, using the same number. And it will be actually a pleasure to have you with us. You can also make a live call on the same.
And now we move on to looking at the exams today, being day 3 of the Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education.
Yes.
And now it is day 3, and we have missing keys and impersonation during this time. CI is investigating the circumstances under which a senior official misplaced a key for an examination container, causing delays in the distribution tests to 23 schools. Examination center managers, education, and security officers who had arrived at the Kapsoya collection station in Ainaboi, Uasin Gishu County by 6 a.m. had to wait for the container to be forced open after frantic efforts to trace the missing key proved futile. The keys to each container are kept by the area sub-county director of education and the sub-county deputy commissioner, who must be present to open the containers that are under 24-hour armed police guard. The education director, Harrison Muriuki, said the lost key was in the custody of Ainaboi deputy county commissioner. And just to have a punchline here, they say that they forcefully opened the padlock after getting permission from the NEC, and the papers were distributed to the schools. The DCI took the padlock as we wait for its replacement, and police are manning the container at the moment. So this is just one of the stories. And moving on to Isiolo, security officers manning examinations have been put on high alert following an incident on Monday where 4 teachers, including a principal, were arrested on claims of aiding examination malpractice. Eastern Regional Commissioner Evans Achoki said security teams in the region are keen on ensuring they deliver credible exams. And these are just some of the counties and what is happening in the exams. And just to have a look, on Monday, Kina Secondary School Principal Simon Guyo, Supervisor Safia Aidan, and invigilators Hassan Wario, Mukhtar Galgalo Ali, Caroline Kendi, and Ali Hussein Godana were arrested for alleged in cheating of exams. And this is a story on page 3 of the Daily Nation.
Of course, it's so, maybe I don't know how to just say it, because that is why the DCI need to actually look at this. How can such kind of an important thing miss? That is the keys to the container. It's so funny as well.
It depends on how well people get their things.
Sure.
I wouldn't know how it happened, because now if the container is guarded 24 hours and the keys are missing, how do you misplace keys to such an important container?
And that is the question as well. I'm sure that is whatever all the rest of the Kenyans are asking.
Yes.
Because it's not even, it's beyond explanation. It's not that simple to explain.
Exactly.
How you can just misplace such an important thing.
Yes.
Not unless they got stolen.
And that
because
means,
I don't think it's misplacement, maybe.
Yeah, sorry. And that means that if you are trusted with that kind of responsibility of keeping that kind of a key, then that means you have to be and be accountable for that key.
Exactly.
Yes.
And I'm sure this key is not given to everyone. It's just given to those people who are really trustworthy.
Yes, it's actually given to the area sub-county director of education and the sub-county deputy commissioner. Yes, just those 2 people in every county. Yes.
But anyway, it's beyond explanation, and that is why the Directorate of Criminal Investigation,
Yes.
that is the DCI, will have to do their job as well.
Yes.
And help Kenyans even as well understand how the keys went missing. But fortunately, the container was forced to open.
Was forced to
because
open,
the students
yes.
must sit for the
Continue
examination,
the
no matter
exam, yes.
whatever it takes. The examinations can never be postponed.
Yes.
Yes, and of course, and we have a different story on the front page of the Standard as well. That is IEBC plots to lock out nominations losers. In a proposal to House Committee, the Elections Agency wants members of Parliament to bar aspirants defeated in party primaries from vying as independent candidates. And this is a story page 8 of the Standard newspaper, with scheme to block primaries losers from contesting as independent. Now, members of Parliament are considering a fresh proposal to block losers in party primaries from running as independent candidates. Under the IEBC, that is the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, argues that aspirants who are defeated in nominations should be barred from resigning from their parties, just the same way party hopping have been outlawed. And of course, we have a Pantalan with us here from Mathi, Ali Abdullahi. Abdullahi is the Assistant Registrar of Political Parties, and he's saying that right now there is a window, but there is a proposal to close that window so that the same time parties are doing nominations, independent candidates are filling their nomination papers. Of course, this is a story about on how the members of Parliament, of course, on how candidates, Christian Wood, who are not even endorsed in any political party, should be stopped from actually being independent. Because that lies in the hands of the members of Parliament, because the Commission argues that the proposal is meant to ensure equality in application of nomination timelines. And Mr. Awie said that actually the way you deny a person from hopping from party B to party A is the same way you should deny a candidate from hopping from a party to independent. Of course, that is all they're trying to do, and that lies in the hands, of course, of the members of Parliament who are considering this fresh proposal of blocking losers in party primaries. A story on the page 8 of the Standard newspaper this morning. And
the same story is on page 12 and 13 of the Daily Nation. You can just have a look at it, and also when the parties, the political parties, are supposed to conclude their primaries, and that is from between April 16th and April 22nd. And this is when they should conduct their parties' nominations and give the report to the IEBC. And it also changes to election laws, and that is the number of days. 90 days is the number of days which the IEBC wants parties to submit a list of their members, down from the current 120 days. You can just have a look at that story as well.
Of course, that is approximately like a month from now, because today being the 16th of March, it's from 16th of April. That is 1 month, exactly 1 month from now.
Exactly 1 month,
up to April 22nd.
Yes, that is 30 days, yes.
Okay.
And now we just have another story here on the front page that says job losses. 5 state farms set to lay off excess workers. State corporations marked for major restructuring to shed excess staff and curb wastage of resources. This is a story on the back page of the Daily Nation, where we have anxiety among the staff as well. And according to an audit by the Public Service Commission, revealed that Kenya Medical Supplies Authority, KEMSA, and Supplies Authority, Agriculture and Food Authority, AFA, Utalii College, Egerton University, and Rongo University top the list of state institutions with excess staffing. Now, the 5 institutions have a combined excess workforce of 1,726, with KEMSA having the highest at 536 employees, Utalii College 393, AFA 327, and Egerton University 210, and Rongo University 137. And this is the numbers of excess staff, and this is according to the PSC.
Yes.
And now the institutions with staff over establishment to review and align them to be authorized staff establishment, and this is according to the PSC as well. And overall, the audit established that 15 public institutions breached their maximum staff requirement by a combined 1,997 workers. So this means that the PSC audit further shows that the authorized workforce established for the 261 public institutions was 347,845, of which 220,782 were vacant. So this means the vacant posts were occasioned by the recruitment moratorium, reorganization and restructuring of the government institutions. And this is just a story on the back page of the Daily Nation that is causing jitters among the employees, because out of the 500 excess staff, you never know who's going home and who's staying.
Of course, it's such kind of a just wake up to job, but I'm not sure about it. You just start gauging yourself.
Yes.
And you wonder, am I the one going home or remaining? Now we have a story on the national page 10 of the Standard, maybe on the same line, that says KEMSA, COVID-19, KEMSA holding on to 1.5 billion Kenya shillings to death. Now, the Kenya Medical Supplies Authority, that is KEMSA, is staring at 1.5 billion Kenya shillings loss because of dead stock. And the authority yesterday told members of parliament that some of the COVID-19 equipment in its stock cannot be sold, since some of the stock had either expired or was not actually sellable. And KEMSA acting chief executive John Kabuchi revealed that the expiring stock are estimated at 171.9 million Kenya shillings, while another stock, a set of stock worth 120.6 Kenya shillings, that is in terms of million, that is 120.6 million Kenya shillings, were not sellable. And to make sure the loss is made to a minimum level, we reached out to all health facilities, and the response is positive. That is exactly what the KEMSA chairperson Mary Mwandime said. And of course, this is a story about how KEMSA is holding on to a 1.5 billion dead stock, a dead stock, either expired goods or them that cannot be sold. That is a story on the national page 10 of the Standard newspaper this morning.
And maybe before we go on our first short break, we just have a look at other comments that are coming in on our social media platform. And on my Twitter handle, I have Grace. Good morning, Morning Informant. I am tuned in as always, and I am watching you from my home right here in Kitengela. Thank you so much.
And of course, on my line, I have good morning, Christine and Gonjo. I'm watching you guys from Nairobi. I've just reached the office. Thank you very much, but unfortunately, you didn't tell us your name, but thank you for tuning in.
And I have Kennedy Mwadime. Good morning, Christine and Gonjo. Yesterday, I enjoyed the UDA NDC, especially the dance moves that our leaders have. This just shows the progress of dancing from our leaders during this election time. And this is from Kennedy Mwadime. Unfortunately, you didn't tell us where you're watching us from, but thank you.
Jane from Limuru, she's saying, good morning, Morning Informant, tuned in as usual. Thank you very much, Jane.
And on that note, maybe Ngonjo, we just take our first short break, but we will be back. Do not go anywhere and just stay here. We have so much more for you right here on Morning Informant.
Awali ni awali, awali mbovu hapana. Ndiposa tumejitosa kimasomaso ili kukujuza yanayojiri
kwenye nguzo za kisiasa, elimu, afya, spoti na zinginezo humu nchini na pia kimataifa.
Basi usiende mbali, kwani meli yako imeshang'oa nanga.
Tutakuletea habari kwa kina, uwazi, uaminifu na za utendeti.
Si pengine ila ni papa hapa nyumbani.
Shani TV.
Kumbuka, akutangulia chanoni
hukuzidi tonge. Ni Tenema Titus
nami Purity Nabukaki ndani ya mchakato.
Welcome to Mountain View Gardens Nanyuki by Finca Properties Limited. These are 50 by 100 plots going for a cash offer price of 220,000 Kenya shillings and 250,000 Kenya shillings in installment. All legal and transfer fees inclusive. Mountain View Gardens is located in a gated community along Nanyuki Rumuruti Road, neighboring All Pejeta Conservancy and Mount Kenya Homes. This area has all social amenities, all-weather roads, water, electricity, and an electric fence already installed. Mountain View Gardens is just few minutes drive from Nanyuki town and is ready for immediate development with a free site visit every Wednesday and Saturday. For inquiries, bookings, reservations, and free site visit, SMS the word plot to 4309. Call us on 0721 737 300 or visit our website at www.finca.co.ke. Come to our offices in Kitengela Town, Pena Towers, Suite B6. Finca Properties Limited. Time and affordable.
We seek to answer all your questions on social, political, and economic issues without bias, because that is the whole point of journalism.
From our English news desk, we expect to meet your expectations to the latter.
Current trends in politics, international and sports news are as credible as the reporter. We have the courage to tell our news stories, not being immune to criticism.
We'll be bringing you news at 1.
For objective news on Newsplug, join me, Christine Mutindi.
And Gonzo Maina every day at 9 p.m. only on SHANI TV, the true mark of Kenya.
Awali ni awali, awali mbovu hapana. Ndiposa tumejitosa kimasomaso ili kukujuza yanayojiri
kwenye nguzo za kisiasa, elimu, afya, spoti na zinginezo humu nchini na pia kimataifa.
Basi usiende mbali, kwani meli yako imeshang'oa nanga.
Tutakuletea habari kwa kina, uwazi, uaminifu na za utendeti.
Si pengine ila ni papa hapa nyumbani.
SHANI TV.
Kumbuka, akutangulia echanoni,
hukuzidi tonge. Niite Neema Titus.
Nami Purity Nabukaki, ndani ya mchakato.
Of course, welcome again. And before we went for a short break, Christine, we were just looking on the news-making headlines, of course, on our dailies today.
Yes.
And straight to the news-making headlines in our counties. And beginning with the standard counties, we have farmers in North Rift advised to start planting as rains set in. Now, farmers in Trans Nzoia County have been asked to plant their crops for the season that is between March 15 and April 14. That is as from yesterday up to April 14, as the rains begin to pound in most parts of the North Rift region. And County Agriculture Executive Committee member, that is Mary Nzomo, said that early planting helps control pests and diseases, and while the crops matures, of course, are faster for at that time crops mature faster for harvesting at the right time. And of course, she was addressing farmers at the Kitale Club after golf series that was sponsored by the Kenya Seed Company. And of course, this is the story on the page 21. The page 21 is the front page on the news, that is Standard County's news, but page 21 in the whole newspaper, that is the Kenya's bold and newspaper, the Standard, this morning.
And Ngonjo, probably I should just read some of the comments that have come in on our social media platform, and that is on Facebook. Chege Steve, good morning, Morning Informant, tuned in from Malindi, Kenya. I love your show, I cannot miss. Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And we have George Paul's, great show, thanks to the hosts always Mukoju. Thank you so much.
Yes, and of course I can't just miss to read this as well. It's from Joseph Zima, exactly. I just like the way he writes the name. If sometimes it can display itself, I can automatically tell this Jose. He's saying, good morning, Morning Informant. Today I didn't know it's orange. I could have worn it as well.
Please,
but it's still early. You can go back to the house and wear it. He's saying, I'm tuned in with my bogie as usual. Thank you, Joseph Zimena Bogie, and a thumbs up from Zimmerman in Nairobi, Kenya.
Okay, we'll be sending him a memo so that he wears
we shall
yes. And I'm moving on to the Daily Nation, where we're looking at the county news. We have wildfires destroy swaths of forest in Rift Valley. This is a story on page 22 of the Daily Nation, where 4 major forests in Rift Valley have been ravaged by fire in the past 2 days, with conservations warning that the fires could escalate due to the ongoing dry spell. In Nakuru, a dark cloud covered the city and its environs due to a fierce fire that started on Sunday and destroyed more than 70 hectares of the Menengai forest. By yesterday morning, the fire had managed through the joint efforts of the Nakuru County Government, Disaster Management Department, and officers from the Kenya Forest Service and the Kenya Prisons Service. The cause of the fire is yet to be established. It has been difficult to stop the flames because of the dry weather and the hills and valleys that are slow movement. And this is according to Nakuru's Chief Officer, Disaster Management, Ann Njenga. This is a story on page 22 of the Daily Nation.
And this morning in Kirinyaga County, that is on the page 24 of the Standard County News in the Standard newspaper this morning. We have a very interesting story, Christine, about a man who left after domestic row with wife returns 50 years later.
Wow.
And we have a family in Kirinyaga County has been reunited with their father who disappeared 50 years ago. And William Miato, who is currently 80 years old, sold all his property after domestic thief with one of his wives and left for Lamu County. And he returned to his daughter's matrimonial home in Jenga's Kirinyaga Central. And the man left in 1973. If you can just do the calculations, so we will see actually how many years it is from now. That is in 1973, leaving behind wives, that is Martha Numbi, who is currently 78 years, and Mary Wamurango, who is 79 years old, and each wife had 5 children by him.
Wow.
And we have a petition that says no fights, where Mr. Murango said they had a happy marriage devoid of feuds, but one day Mr. Miato slapped her and then left, never to return.
He literally slapped the wife.
Yes, one of the wives.
One of the wives.
Of course.
And then he left.
He sold all his property and left for 50 years.
Okay, now that is quite interesting.
But now he's back.
He's back now.
Of course, 50 years down the line. He might have left when he was 30 because currently he's 80.
So now how did his family to survive for all these years?
The only thing that is surprising me is how did he even locate his home 50 years down the line? being in Lamu County 50 years down the line, he's back to the family. He thought it's a good thing that not they have, the family is happy. And of course, I have an image of Wilson Miato with his son Paul Numbi and niece Pauline Wamiro. Of course, a very interesting photo, a very old man, though kind of energetic actually. And from the facial expression, from the image that I have with me here, you can tell that the family is happy. Of course, it's like they just left everything to go down. And there is one of the brothers who is saying that I'm grateful to my brother because before his death, all my children had cleared high school. And of course, he's talking about the death of a brother. But now currently, all the children have cleared school, and their father-in-law, maybe the father's brother, it's also a father, right?
So at least he took care of the kids when his brother left.
Of course.
Wow, and that is quite interesting. He made sure that the children is on school.
Sure.
And now on my side of the Daily Nation, we have Wambora faces arrest in case on staff union dues. A Nyeri court has issued arrest warrants against governor and 3 other officials. The Employment and Labor Relations Court in Nyeri has issued warrants of arrest against Embu Governor Martin Wambora, County Secretary Jason Nyaga, Finance and Economic Planning Executive John Njagi, and his Chief Officer Ruth Ndirangu. And this was after the officials failed to appear in court yesterday. Justice Njagi Marete had summoned them in a ruling issued last Thursday, in which he found them in contempt of court. The officials are embroiled in a legal tussle with the county government workers union in a suit in which the devolved unit is accused of failing to deduct and remit its employees' union membership fees. Court order dated 1st December 2020 instructing the county government to remit the union dues. Now this is a story on page 21 of the Daily Nation.
And as we always say that wonders never cease, we have a story in Nyamira County where a girl refuses to sit exam, insults her father and a teacher.
Why did she do that?
And of course, that is why the story has been very much broken down in the page 22 in the Standard newspaper this morning. That is, a candidate refused to sit the Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education examination, that is the KCSE, after falling out with her father and a principal. Of course, from the story, the principal just tried as much as he can, of course, to cancel the girl on the rehearsals date. I think that is on Friday, last week Friday. Before the examination kicked off on Monday, but they were proved all futile. It's a story about that girl, of course, in Nyamira County, the page 20, the page 22 of the Standard newspaper this morning, and the Standard counties.
And because I do not understand how that a student could do that unless she was not really normal. She was high on something illegal.
She was just okay, I'm assuming.
No, she can't be okay. I don't know where you get the guts and the audacity to insult your teacher and your father.
Of course, I don't know. Okay, I know it's so bad as well, but it's funny as well because I don't really understand.
I am actually imagining myself doing that, and I can imagine how wrath could have come down on me. And you remember the poems we were talking about?
Yes.
I would have written the compositions. I would have written a whole composition on how I was beaten on that day.
Of course.
I can imagine the wrath that would come down to me.
And write 45 apology letters,
yes,
different languages.
And apologize in front of the whole school. You know, like literally stand there and apologize to the principal and to my dad for insulting them.
I remember there was one of my teachers when you did something wrong, the simple punishment, come and apologize, of course, with a fluent flow in language. You just have to apologize, but flowing.
Wow, and that is just one of the things that is happening. And of course, the comments in on our social media platforms, and we are still continuing with our show this morning. And now just to have one of the comments here that is quite interesting, now that we have mentioned home, and I just need to read this as usual. This is from Kevin Omolo and MC Omolo, and it says, as usual, I'm watching from South Sudan, and we have a flag of South Sudan. I'm being informed on what's happening. I miss my motherland, and maybe we should just tell him to come for a trip home.
Of course.
Yes.
I'm sure he's is aware that yesterday Kenyans had a great day,
Yes.
and Saturday as well. It has been, of course, from Saturday to yesterday,
Yes.
Kenyans have been very happy.
And it's quite a good time right here. We are enjoying the show as it is continuing.
Of course.
Yes.
We also appreciate to reach out to people even at far end parts of the country as well.
Yes, and now we are still moving on, and we have a story here from Laikipia County, where irrigation contributing to the scarcity of water. County residents are suffering from water scarcity as drought continues to bite. Most major rivers, including the Ewasonyiro River, have been drying up in the last 5 months. Though the water scarcity has been blamed on climate change, leaders from the region have lamented that overuse of water for irrigation by large-scale farmers upstream has also contributed to the problem. Now, cattle have died. Both the national and the county governments should look into ways of addressing the challenge to ensure that residents do not continue to suffer. And this is inclusive of their herds dying. As a result, thousands of herds of cattle have since died. And this is according to Mr. Caparo. And Mr. Caparo is just one of the members of that county. Moniki here, who said there should be a policy that will compel those who are drawing large amounts of water from the river to sink boreholes and water pans downstream. And according to Laikipia County Commissioner Joseph Kanyiri, he called on Water Resource Authority to come up with a law that regulates the use of water during the dry seasons. And this is a story on page 22 of the Daily Nation, and it is quite a sad story because now we are in the dry season, and of course we've been doing weather forecast right here on SHANI TV, and we have seen that in most counties it is sunny, and some other counties it is dry as well. Yes,
of course. Being sunny, I remember yesterday there was a story about, if I'm not wrong, in Samburu County, where people are actually suffering from drought, and they're just referring it to a summer, because there is a lot of heat at the same time, and a lot of it sunny, there is no food,
sunny, yes.
And the county government was calling for the national government to just have food, because they needed to save the lives of the residents who are suffering. And of course, on that note as well, though in some counties there are some expectations of a little bit rain showers, but in some of the parts,
a little bit, yes.
But in some of the parts in the country, people are suffering as well.
And now maybe Ngonjo, you take us on that flight.
We need to.
Yes, we really need to, and just have a look, because we have so much happening in China, in Ukraine, in India, and we also need to stay informed and just know that, because nowadays the world has become like it's a village,
of course,
because of globalization. Yes,
it has become like a small village,
a very small tiny village.
It's all about globalization, as
yes,
you just said it. And of course, and not forgetting, even in Mozambique, where we call it
Gombe cyclone.
Yes, Gombe
tropical cyclone.
That is the name.
It's called Gombe, and in January they had another. There was another cyclone that was called Anna.
Anna. So they have names. How are they named? Are you aware?
I have no idea, but I just know it is called, this one is being called Gombe, but the one that happened in January, it's called Anna, and it swept across Madagascar and some other also African countries as well. Yes.
And just the part that actually shocked me, of course, the speed by which the wind was traveling, 200 kilometers per hour.
Yes.
That is approximately 125 miles per hour.
Yes.
Very fast. Anyway, let's go to
and it is windy at the same time, and it's raining, and so the wind is destroying the houses. And then when you look at that video, the houses are flooded and covered in water.
Of course, by the name you can just think it's something funny, but deadly as well, because people are suffering. That is the northern part of Mozambique as well.
Yes, and on Friday it actually caused a landfall. Yes.
A landfall.
A landfall.
Killing a dozen. And remember, we had over 50. I remember.
At this point, it is standing at 11. Those are the confirmed deaths, according to the Red Cross in that country. Yes.
But maybe they just fear there are some yet which are unconfirmed so far,
yes,
as per what they have been experiencing as a nation.
Yes. And now moving on, we have Ukraine war. Ukrainian negotiators say that they want peace and truce and withdrawal of Russian forces. And deadly blast rocks Kiev as talks with Russia resumes. And UN estimates 2.8 million people have fled Ukraine and 636 civilian deaths recorded. This is inclusive of children. Powerful explosions rocked the residential districts of Kiev early on Tuesday, killing 2 people just hours before talks between Ukraine and Russia were to resume. At least 3 large blasts were heard from the center of the country, carrying smoke in the city. There a fire raged and smoke billowed from the charred husk of the building as emergency services and locals navigated an obstacle course of glass, metal and other debris littering the road. Now, bodies of 2 people were found, 27 people were rescued, and this is according to Ukraine's emergency service. And another residential building in Podilsk also came under attack. And we have a quote or a punchline here from the Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky, who said they have begun to understand that they will not achieve anything by war. Pretty good, but let's wait and see. And this is just a punchline of one of them. But Ukrainian negotiators say that they want peace and immediate ceasefire and withdrawal of Russian troops. And almost 3 weeks after vast columns of Russian forces marched across the border, Moscow forces have bombarded and besieged several towns. And maybe Ngonjo, yesterday we also saw a video of Russian forces turning down the CCTV cameras that are along the road, and they're turning them down so that they do not look forward,
of course,
but they're facing down. So now the CCTV cannot show anything because they are facing down, and it literally shows the Russian forces climbing the tree, the post that has the CCTV.
Sure.
Yes.
And of course, you saw there are a lot of videos online, of course, going viral. Even with the man, remember the story of a man who almost just actually was almost dying when the missile just hit some few meters from wherever he was. And of course, we could see even from the recent attack on the maternity and the children's home, a very woman, heavily pregnant woman being carried on, actually being
out of the debris. Yes,
of course. So unfortunate as well, and I think that is why they need to call for peace in the region as well.
As well as the president of Ukraine visiting the soldiers who are hurt in the hospital and giving them medals. And ensuring them that they will be okay, and he wants health for them because that is a show of courage as well.
Of course.
And also videos of debris and remnants of bombs and the shelling. The right word is the shelling.
Yes.
So the shelling of the bombs being carried out of residential buildings.
Yes.
Yes.
I remember yesterday as well, we also saw that, of course, and it's all over. We saw that actually being carried by, I think it's a kind of crane from a building that is a residential building.
That is the shelling of a bomb that was being carried out. Yes.
Of course, that is the place where people live, and not 1 or 2, but maybe a dozen
dozens of people. Yes.
And maybe on the same line, we have on the page 31 of the Standard newspaper this morning, that is under the Standard World News, where small oil producers could gain as bars shun Russian crude. Now, as the United States and Europe cut back purchases of Russian oil, and energy traders SHANI for fear of sanctions is on for other sources, and attention has focused on Iran and Venezuela, both of which are led by governments that the US sought until recently to isolate. And we have but emerging and less developed producers could also pay roles. This is a story about actually the crude oil that is in small producer, that is in small scale in the Russian country, and we have 340,000 barrels of oil is that Guyana produced per day. 340,000 barrels of oil. And of course, with me here I have an image of an employee who is actually showing a sample of crude oil in the Yarakta oil field in Russia. And this is a story that has been very much well broken down in the page 31 of the Standard newspaper this morning. And
still on matters international news, police in United States hunt for homeless men killer. And a man suspected of shooting homeless men on the streets of Washington and New York in a series of cold-blooded attacks. The string of place in the middle of the night over 10 days this month, and have left 2 men dead and 3 injured. Washington Mayor Muriel Bowser and his New York colleague Eric Adams at a joint press conference in the nation's capital, also attended by police chiefs of the 2 cities, urged the public to come forward with information about the suspect. And Bowser said a $70,000 reward has been offered for information leading to an arrest, and $25,000 by the Washington police, and further a $25,000 also by the New York police, and $20,000 by the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms and Explosions. So in total, this is $70,000. We have $25,000 and another $25,000. That is $120 so far. And then you add by the New York police $20,000. So this is a total of $140,000 for anyone who will identify this man. And a 38-year-old man was shot in the arm in Lower Manhattan on Saturday, and he's alive today because he woke up when he heard the first gunshot and started yelling. This is a story well detailed on page 26 of the Daily Nation.
And maybe, Christine, on that note, we can just get to hear what our viewers have, as well as we just have maybe on their way
on
to
the way,
town
yes.
this morning. Of course, we always let you know how the traffic is doing on our roads as you enter now, as you leave town in different parts of the country this morning. On my side, I have good morning, Christine and Gonjo. I'm really enjoying the show. I'm watching you guys from Kitengela. Thank you very much. And of course, I have a different person here saying, good morning, Morning Informant. I like the way you just reviewing the newspaper. I don't have to buy it myself. I've really understood almost everything that is in each and every page of the newspaper. Maybe you can just have a copy, because you're getting just samples, just highlighting some of them. You can just
we're just highlighting some of the stories. Yes, and of course, right here on my side, I have Good Morning, Morning Informant. I am enjoying the show. And yesterday, the dance that was shown in Kasarani was quite amazing. And this is from Ruth, watching us from Mitaboni. Mitaboni, yes. And just looking at our roads this morning, we just want to see what is happening on our roads this morning, any incidents or accidents, on how the roads are looking in terms of traffic, to allow you get to work a little bit faster and easier as well, so that if you can reroute, you do that as well. And now looking at a CBD, I can see that on Kenyatta Avenue it is orange, and that means that the traffic is slow but moving. And on the other side of Moi Avenue, it is clear. Moi Avenue, the way, there is no traffic on that side. Looking onto Chambers Road, Slip Road, it is a little bit of orange. That shows it is slow but moving. On the side of Kipande Road, it is clear as well. That means that there is no traffic on that side. Kirinyaga Road as well is so clear. There is no traffic on that side. Valley Road is slow but moving as well. Kenyatta Avenue, a little bit jamming up as you get into town. That side of Kenyatta Avenue, it's slowly building up that side. On the other side of Hospital Road, and that is Kenyatta Hospital, it is clear all the way from 5th Ngong Avenue to Elgon Road. It is clear all that way. There is no traffic on that side of town.
And on the Thika Superhighway, there is the Thika road users as from Alsops to Pangani. There is traffic on and off. You approach the Pangani area, even from the Kiambu Road side, there is a continuous red line, an indicator of hecticness in terms of traffic in the area. But as you come to approach the Mathare area for as well, there is a little bit traffic on your way to town, but from town there is no traffic at all, because it's a continuous green line, an indicator of there is no traffic. So whoever is using the Thika superhighway from town back to the other sides of Thika Road, there is no traffic. But as you approach the town, the road is very much well as from Roiro, Juja, Kifurai areas. But as you come to approach the also, there is a little bit traffic that actually becomes more hectic as you approach the Mathare area for Pangani as well.
And looking on to Old Mombasa Road, there is a lot of traffic on that side. It is a continuous red line from Old Mombasa Road all the way up to ICD in connection to Masai Road. There is traffic there, a lot of traffic. It is a continuous red line. On National Park Eastgate Road, there is traffic there as well. And on Imara Daima, there is a lot of traffic as well. And this is the route from Imara Daima, that is Road C. There is a continuous red line on that side as well. And this is going into town, and a little bit at the junction coming from town, there is a little bit of traffic there. And looking still on Mombasa Road, moving on a little bit down, we have Airport North Road. We have a lot of traffic on that side as well. And from Embakasi, I can see from Embakasi, there is a lot of traffic. There is a continuous red line on that side on Airport North Road in connection to Cabanas. There is a lot of traffic. In the area of Southfield Mall, it is a continuous red line. This means that there is traffic on that side and it is slowly moving. And on Mombasa Road, coming from town, just after Cabanas, there is a lot of traffic there as well. The traffic is not moving, but as you go a little bit further, it is green all the way, indication of less traffic on both sides. That is from town and coming from town and going into town. Yes.
And maybe to the Waiakwe users, there is no traffic at all until you just approach the Brookside Grove. There is a little bit traffic that actually opens up as you approach the Matundu CI. But again, as you approach the Karumas here as well on Waiakwe, that is on your way to town, there is a continuous red line, an indicator of traffic as well. But it doesn't take long. It's a very short traffic as well. But again, as you approach the Woodville CI, there is a little bit traffic, but from there to Chiromo Lane and the Riverside Drive connection, there is no traffic at all. And it's moving until you just reach the roundabout near the Westlands Road and the Professor Maurice Alala Road, that is on Waiakwe this morning.
And I have a comment that has come in right. It is from Elijah. Good morning, Morning Informant. I am stuck on Mombasa Road, almost at Airtel building. There is a lot of traffic there, but I am watching you on my phone on my way to work as I wait for the traffic to start moving. Wow, we'll tell you how it goes up ahead.
Of course.
Yes, before you get to work. Yes.
And we don't mean to break your heart. Just releasing exactly what you need to expect.
Yes.
Just delivering the expectations.
Yes, and maybe know if you need to reroute to another road, probably that will get you to town a little bit faster. And I was just winding up our newspaper review. We just need to look at some of the other stories making headlines, and we go to business news, where Nzoia Sugar has paid 217 million Kenya shillings for goods that have not been delivered. And now the cost of Nzoia goods that are said to be undergoing clearance at the port is standing at 127 million Kenya shillings. And the cane crushing plant, found to be lying idle last year, 28 years after it was bought, is standing at the cost of 295 million Kenya shillings. The management of the state-owned Nzoia Sugar Company is on the spot for the 216.57 million Kenya shillings advance payment for goods and services ordered about 7 years ago, but have yet to be delivered by suppliers. And this is a story on page 29 of the Daily Nation, and the transactions include 12 payments totaling to 135.99 million Kenya shillings for the supply of tubes and modification of a boiler machine, 3 payments totaling to 36.69 million Kenya shillings for supply of a juice filtration and a vacuum machine. And just some of this, the details here on page 29 of the Daily Nation.
And on the page under the Standard Business News this morning of CBK sets September as deadline for registration of digital lenders, and the digital lenders have up to the end of September this year to register with the Central Bank of Kenya CBK or close the operations in the country. And we have these lenders, of course, are expected to pay just 5,000 as the application fee, with 20,000 being the amount of money they're supposed to pay for the license fee if the Central Bank of Kenya draft is retained. And maybe you might be asking yourself what actually the Central Bank of Kenya wants to implement. And we have the Central Bank of Kenya wants to bar digital lenders from charging interest that exceeds the principal owing at the time a loan falls into default. And and with some of the regulations being put in place, these are regulations that are meant to remove the lacuna that had attracted public outcry about the pricing of digital loans. And the Central Bank of Kenya is now pushing for full interoperability across mobile money platforms. Our story on the page 28 of the Standard and newspaper this morning.
And now moving on and getting sporty right here on Morning Informant, we have Tusker, and this is the FKF Premier League. Tusker squander chance to cut gap on Homeboys. Defending champions Tusker yesterday moved within 5 points of leaders Kakamega Homeboys after a 0-0 draw with KCB on their Football Kenya Federation Premier League match at the Moi International Sports Center, Kasarani in Nairobi. Homeboys top the standings with 46 points, while Tusker are second on 41. Homeboys could open an 8-point gap at the top should they beat Ulinzi Stars at Kericho Green Stadium today. And KCB remain fourth with 37 points so far. This is a story on page 39 of the Daily Nation.
And on the page 47 of the Standard newspaper this morning, you have a moment of reckoning for English football. And we have the top 5 richest Premier League clubs being Newcastle, Manchester City, Chelsea, Arsenal and Aston Villa. And of course, in the last page of the Standard newspaper, we have Man City draws open door for Liverpool as they face Arsenal. And in our today's EPL fixtures, of course, we have Brighton versus Tottenham. That is at exactly 10:30 p.m. And we have Arsenal versus Liverpool at 11:15 p.m. All these in the Standard Sports News on the page 48 of the Standard newspaper.
And on that note, we have come to the close of our newspaper review. We want to just go on a short break, but we will be back with our topic of discussion. And today being hashtag Relationship Wednesday, we are going to speak about online dating.
Of course.
And today we're just asking, what are your thoughts on online dating? What do you think about online dating?
Yes.
Please keep the conversation rolling on our social media platforms, that is at SHANI TV, Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, and on Instagram.
And the platform number remains as displayed at the bottom of the screen, and the number is 0706083050. You can as well use the SMS platform to join in this conversation. And just remind you again, today is hashtag Relationship Wednesday. It's all about online dating. Help us get your views concerning online dating and maybe some of the dangers that use a person know. Maybe you have an experience. That is all after this short break.
Live in a beach life city, enjoying coastal lifestyle with a cool breeze and ocean tides as you watch the sunset. In Malindi, touching the Kilifi Watamu bypass, sitting just 100 meters off the white sandy beach in a gated and controlled development next to Malaika Beach Hotel. Finca Properties Limited offers you a 50 by 100 plot for only 1.5 million shillings. And water is available on site. This property is ideal for residential homes, cottages, holiday homes and hotels. For inquiries, bookings and reservations, SMS the word plot to 40309 or call us on 0721 737 300 or visit our website at www.finca.co.ke. Come to our offices in Kitengela Town, Pena Towers, Suite B6. Title deeds are ready. Finca Property Limited, prime and affordable.
Awali ni awali. Awali mbovu hapana. Ndiposa tumejitosa kimasomaso ili kukujuza yanayojiri
kwenye nguzo za kisiasa, elimu, afya, spoti na zinginezo humu nchini na pia kimataifa.
Basi usiende mbali, kwani meli yako chang'oa nanga.
Tutakuletea habari kwa kina, uwazi, uaminifu na za utendeti.
Si pengine ila ni papa hapa nyumbani.
Shani TV.
Kumbuka, akutangulia chanoni
hukuzidi tonge. Ni Tenema Titus
nami Purity Nabukaki ndani ya mchakato.
And welcome back to Morning Informant. Today we're talking about online dating. And maybe I just ask Ngonjo, have you ever tried online dating?
Not at all.
And of course we have scandals from the Tinder swindler to so many others. And it has been about women being conned of probably money, and they're being extorted in the thought of receiving love or getting love. And those are just some of the incidences of online dating. But now today I just want to discuss about it a little bit. And you tell us if you have experienced it and what are your thoughts about online dating. And as we had said when we were doing our newspaper review, the world has become like a small village due to globalization, of course. And now we have seen even some of Kenyans, their accounts being blocked by the Kenya Revenue Authority because they cannot explain their source of money. And this is coming from their boyfriends in other countries, in Western countries.
Western, sorry, not up country.
Up country is Ushago. So
yes,
in the Western countries,
country,
yes. So they cannot explain the source of their money, and this is just someone they met online. Of course, we have some other relationships that have thrived, and they have led to marriages, and they are quite happy, and they're good. But we also have the others that have had experiences.
Of course,
and
there are experiences and experiences. So someone can just say, "I have an experience," and there is one who can say, "I have an experience." There's a difference in intonation, so you can tell the difference between the experience and the real experience. And the reason as to maybe Christine just decided to have this on our show this morning because online dating is slowly gaining acceptance in our society.
Yes, it is.
And of course, anything that we are calling online, you see, the first thing about this thing, as much as it's gaining acceptance in our society, it's there is a percentage of it being wrong because we also have the dangers of this thing. Because how can you marry a Facebook hubby?
And I'm laughing because I have remembered an incident where a lady was called on a date on Facebook.
Yes.
And the man told her, I will be wearing a red t-shirt and a black jeans, and we will meet at a certain place. And so the lady said, okay, and she went. But when she got there, because of course we have some people on Facebook, and they saw the comment. So several people had worn the same clothes. And they were all there waiting for her, and she couldn't tell who it was.
Of course.
Yes. And
maybe she could have just chosen the right person.
How do you know? Someone just puts a photo of someone just looking very good, an actor. I probably pick an actor from Western, and I just put there the photo. And because probably you don't watch a lot of movies, you don't know who that person is. So you think that person is very handsome or very beautiful. And when you come to meet the person in person, everyone is fearfully and wonderfully made. But yes, let's...
Of course, and you see in social media,
Yes.
everyone is the best. Just find accounts of very pretty people and just say, wow, this is the person I've been looking for. And that is why if you like a very handsome man, if you like a very rich man, there is a possibility of meeting them with just about a click away. They're just a click away on social media. Because you'll get the most, you see, I don't know how people do this, because we have all over fake accounts. I'm sure you can just meet
pseudo accounts.
Two different people on Facebook. That is on social media. You don't have to say Facebook alone. On social media, any
social media,
handle.
yes.
Just find this person is very different. But when you meet physically, you can't even tell exactly. And most of these people, what they do, they just hide the contact.
Yes.
You keep on pressing. I don't have an experience, but I've done some investigations as well. You keep on pushing. I need the contact.
The issue of experience is subject to change upon investigation, but we will still know.
Of course, I've done some investigations. I've done the research on this, and that is why we have it on the show.
Yes.
And maybe you keep on pressing, I need the contact.
Yes.
Because this person, even the English that they're using on social media, you can't.
But again, I think it depends on how you start the conversation.
Of course.
Because you can talk to someone and you can tell if someone is interested or not interested. Unless somehow you just don't know how to read the signs or just to read the conversation. Sometimes you have to read between the lines. If this person is speaking, how are they speaking? What do they want? You can tell sometimes. Though sometimes it's difficult to tell. But I think when it comes to online dating, even the people sometimes do it. This is not something serious. This is not something that is meant to last. And that is why probably they keep doing it. But we also ask, how safe are you when meeting your online catch? Do you really know this person, maybe this man or a woman? Many women who have given internet dating a try will tell you that they felt a close connection with their Iman even before meeting him. Yes.
And maybe the men who have also experienced the same or tried the same, they can give the experience and say that actually they felt the same as well.
Yes.
Because it's normal. But unfortunately, you might be wasting your time and energy on the wrong person.
Yes, and sometimes you find that even they can video call and start talking and spend probably 2 years just talking on phone before the other person travels to meet their spouse or their date.
It's possible. Remember of a story of a couple. They had actually spent, 4 years online. They're just online girlfriends and boyfriends. You're just doing everything online. Video calling, you've never met for 4 years, and you're still pushing on. It doesn't mean that it doesn't work. At some point it works, but still there's some dangers in between it, of course.
And I remember in Kenya right here, we had a young man who said that he just needs airtime for 100 Kenya shillings. And a certain lady sent him the airtime. But he was just trying to see if there's someone out there who's kind enough. And they met, and later on they started dating. And up to this time, I think they actually married. Happily married. There's married and there's happily married.
Of course, maybe those are plans of God, but it doesn't mean that all the things you're doing online, they're plans of God, of course.
Not really, but maybe that is a means to an end.
Maybe.
But again, there are some dangers when it comes to online dating. For example, do you know the background of this person?
Sure.
Does he have a criminal record? Is his mental state okay?
Of course.
Who is this person? Even sometimes you find people behind bars, but they have access to phones. Because once a criminal
Sure.
Yeah, so maybe they have phones and they keep talking to you, and you just think that you're having a conversation with someone who's genuine, and they want to marry you, and that you have found your prince charming.
And maybe having in mind as well that some people just use online for malicious reasons. You just find yourself giving your whole information to that person. I am Christine, I'm doing this, and Livy, I like this, but you're just doing it to a ghost person. Don't
For
even know
sure,
this person.
yes.
Because images, let me tell you something, when you tell someone, just send me 5 images of yourself, how sure are you that those images belongs to him or her? How
Yes.
sure are you? Someone can just get to somebody else's actually account and get
yes.
the images. Somebody can just be having a friend's images in the phone, and they just decide to send you the images, and you say, wow, this is the person I've been looking for. Who lied to you?
Yes, and just some of the comments that are coming in here, we have Karen Karimi. Good morning, Morning Informant. About online dating. One day I went for a date, but I hid from where we agreed to meet. I got there earlier and I sat a little bit far to see the person, and I was wearing my hat. So when I saw a man coming in that looked like the date I was waiting for, I called him and he picked his phone. I could not believe my eyes. That it was not what I saw on social media. That is how I left the hotel. I just paid my soda and walked away. And she has put the laughing emojis after that. So I can imagine Karen Karimi how that was like for you.
Of course, and to some people it works. Like for me, I have a good morning informant. My name is Linda, and she's saying that of course to me we have a complete package. I was very lucky. Actually, there was no giving it up, because the fact we met for the first time after a long time did not even cross in my mind. But I just found it package for me.
And we have another one here. It says, and this is from Michael, he says, if not into monogamy, why even get married to someone you met online and you don't even know the person? Love has to blossom from a point. And this is according to Michael.
And of course, I have Josephine from Zima, from Magidora. She's saying, good morning informant. The internet dating scene can be very dangerous to anyone too trusting or desperate to meet a partner.
And someone is here saying, and that is Kai, so saying, I could never date someone that I have met online because I like vibe. I really enjoy having to vibe with someone, and we create a partnership. And that is how I know I have a potential partner.
And I have somebody else here saying, good morning informant. My name is James. So what I would like to say about this, that if someone wants to try internet dating, let them make sure they arm themselves with weapons if they need to date safely. Thank you very much, James.
Yes, and I have someone here saying, and this is from Caris, and Caris is saying, good morning, Christine and Ngonjo. Most of what people write on Facebook and on social media is not who they really are. You need to meet the true person when they're angry, when they're happy, when they're sad, when they're high, when they're low. And that is when you get to know the real person. But the online dating is a scam. Wow.
Of course, and I have Njoki on this side, who is saying, good morning informant. Sometimes marriage means so much to someone, and they have to pick their foreign husband or wife on the internet.
And I have someone here who's saying that most of the people hide behind social media when they have emotional baggage. I do not like that, and it is a lazy way of getting to know someone or finding a good spouse for yourself. Some of the comments that are coming in, so just keep them coming, and remember that right here at Morning Informant, we like to inform you on everything that is going on. But of course today I forgot to give Ngonja my read out, because I like to also keep his mind alert as we continue with this conversation. And we're still asking you, what are your thoughts on online dating? Have you ever had experience? Have you ever heard of someone who has had the experience of having to find someone online? And why do people do that? Is it so hard to find someone that you can relate to, that you can vibe with? just physically,
Of course.
other than finding someone online? Is it that we are too lazy as a country, as a generation? We don't want to look for someone. We don't want to sit down and have a conversation, and probably we just want to be on our phones every other time,
Of course.
and just do online dating. Or are we just tired of looking for love or finding real love anywhere?
Or maybe are we just too shy to approach people? Just say, I need to use the phone. So that, you see, sometimes when you speak with someone via phone for a long time, just develop that bond that you just even go the esteem and the courage to approach this person physically.
Yes.
But it doesn't mean that is the best thing you should be always using. But to some people it has worked. But to a lot of people, as you can see from some of the comments we've sampled so far, and some of the comments that continue to get into our show this morning, we shall love to know whether you should or you shouldn't.
And those are just some of the comments. And now into our riddle this time. And I want to ask Ngonjo, you are running a race, and at the very end, you pass the person in second place. What place did you finish the race in?
I was running a race.
You are running a race, and you passed the person running in the second. You passed the person in second place. What place did you finish the race in?
Second.
Wow. Okay. Okay. And today I can see Ngonjo is on toes. Ngonjo is on toes. So we just continue with our conversation, and maybe I throw in another one. I have a tail and a head, but no body. What am I?
I have
a tail. Sorry, a tail and a head.
And I don't have what?
I don't have a body.
I don't have a body.
Yes.
I've got no idea. What can that be?
Okay, just think about it and you'll tell us as you think, and we're still having that conversation. Yes.
But of course, I got the first one right.
Yes, you did. Actually, the first time. You didn't even think so hard about it. Yes, and that just shows that today you are on toes. As we are asking, what are your thoughts on online dating?
Of course, and you can help us get your feedback on our SMS platform, as actually displayed at the bottom of your screen, and the number is 0706083050. You can join in our conversation this morning through the SMS platform or even our social media handles.
And our social media platforms are always open for you, and that is at on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, and on Instagram. We just want to have that conversation and understand, what is online dating? Have you ever tried it? What are your thoughts on it? And of course, right here we will give you the tips on how to be safe. Once you choose to do online dating, you have to be safe. Yes.
And of course, we have the numerous horror stories of bad internet experiences, can range from the slightly humorous to deadly. Of course, maybe sometimes if out of curiosity you just try these, you got online, and there are some we call them online platforms, online dating sites.
Yes.
Below everyone, below every online dating site, there's a lot of testimonies displayed there. And if you're a key person, you can just get down. There is a testimonial area that is, I think, on the comment section under every site, and you can just get to read the testimonies. And that is why we are saying they range from mild to deadly.
Yes.
Deadliest. You can even tell, wow, is this a real or some people come there to testify, not in a bad manner, not to demoralize anyone, or actually to say anything bad about it, but exactly to help you understand. Maybe you should not try this.
You should not try.
Or maybe you should avoid this, or maybe you should try this in a safer manner.
Yes, or you should try this, and they give you pointers on how to go about it.
Of course.
And on that note, we have some comments that are coming in, and I have one here. And good morning, Morning Informant. Sorry, I stopped trying online dating when I put my profile photo, and one of the people was judging me by the difference in the hair and weight. When I met him, I was shocked, and when I declined a second date, he accused me of not being genuine. Okay, and that is when I decided to stop online dating, because the person who was judging me was looking worse than I was. Wow,
that is interesting. And I have somebody here saying, good morning, Morning Informant. My name is Judy, and she's saying, although meeting people online convenient than in bars or nightclubs, you are still exposed to danger, as not every person you meet are who they claim to be.
And I have one here that is quite interesting. And good morning. My name is Eli. I am a photographer, and while I don't think anyone should edit the living out of the images to post on social media, I cannot say I would entirely call it false advertising. The camera does not always see how you actually look without good hard practice and hours of work. You can be beautiful but not photogenic, and this is to all girls who like editing their pictures before they put them on social media.
Wow, that is interesting. And of course, I have another one here that is saying, good morning, Morning Informant. My name is Mike and I'm watching you guys from Savannah. And he's saying, keeping in mind that cyberspace is the place where saints will turn into serial killers and year-old man or woman will masquerade as your sexy athletic hunk. I should tell someone not to date online. That is exactly Mike from Savannah.
Yes, and I have another one here that is asking, good morning, Christine and Gonjo. There's one thing that always confuses me. Why would someone want to get into a relationship with a guy that they met online and they are already thinking about the end? This is what, and then he's put shaking my head. Okay, and this is from JP. Apparently, JP, you didn't tell us where you're watching us from, but your question is the reason why we're asking. What are your thoughts on online dating? We just want to understand.
Of course. And maybe have somebody else here saying, I wonder where we are heading to as a people in this country, because where did humanity go? How can you fall in love with a person you don't know, a person you've never seen? Because from the pictures they send to us, it doesn't mean that the real person, and if that person is real, don't they meet you physically instead of wasting their bundles sending images?
And I have another one here from Camille. Camille is saying, I do not like online dating because most of the time you have a lot of uninteresting small talk and you cannot get to know someone through the small talks that they have online. Wow.
And of course, if I can just, as we continue, maybe you'll get to sample some of the comments just coming in on our social media handles and also at our platform number, as we are of course continuing to help you understand more about online dating. And of course, before we went on that, Christine was just saying of the testimonials and below any online dating site that help us understand different things, as we've just said before reading the comment sections.
Yes, and of course now we have someone to join us and just help us understand their views on online dating, and we will get that to you once he comes in, and we just continue. And we know that there are many hidden dangers and characters of people. Someone can be a serial killer, a thief. Okay, they have a long hand. Once they go to the supermarket, they steal even the smallest things.
Of course, they just hide the chewing gums.
And you can't tell the real character of someone from that unless you start and meet the person and start talking.
Of course.
And now maybe we get to Abdul, and Abdul will help us understand.
So thank you so much for welcoming me. And so today we are talking about online dating. Maybe online dating is it's good for some people and bad for some people. So according to me, online dating is 50-50. It's not really good for me because some people can track you or put you into the wrong way, can mislead you because of the fashions or the things they show you through online, but in real life they are not really that. So what I say about online dating is totally not good for most of the people, but for some people, for them, if they interact really face to face, but but maybe they are not good in online. So for those people who interact through online, but when they meet through face to face, they don't see what they were expecting to see as a real life. They get something which is not good, or on their life. The other part, the reason why online dating is good, it will be good for some people to meet on online and get interaction through online. If the relationship is very honest, and everything will go right. So it can be bad or good.
Wow, and maybe Abdul, we just ask you, have you ever tried online dating?
Yeah, I tried some, but they didn't go right because of the. I've never seen what I've expected, because I see the things that I expected was not it.
Yes, and maybe Abdul, if you can just, if you getting me loud and clear, if I can just ask you this, as being an experienced person, a person with an experience on the same, having tried this thing, do you think there are some of the benefits of trying it as a person, apart from the bad side of it? Is there any good side of online dating as a person who has the experience?
Yes. And maybe we will get back to Abdul Sam and we finish the conversation. But as he has said, he has tried online dating,
Yes.
but he did not see what he expected, because someone, as we are still saying, someone can be a pretender.
Sure.
And do you know someone can pretend for as long as 2 years?
And even 20 years, even 100 years, pretense, some people
Okay,
don't get tired of pretense.
Now you're overdoing.
Not really. People can pretend. That is honestly speaking. Yes, of course.
And Abdul is back, so maybe you continue with what he was telling us about. He has tried online dating, but it did not work for him. So Abdul, you did not meet the person that you wanted.
Yeah, I tried my best to be a smart person, but the person I expected to be image that I saw and the real video that I saw was not really there when I met that person on face to face. That's why I say online dating has some disadvantages, because of the expectation did not go right. The person I expected maybe has some issues that I can't mention here. So that's why I tried, but I failed, and I never get what I expected.
And maybe Abdul, as I had asked earlier on before, maybe you went missing, I had asked this question. Being a person who has experienced this online dating, have you actually, do you have any good side of it about it, or it's only a bad thing to try?
Yes.
Or maybe, what do you think? And it's like we've lost, but if you're getting me, Abdul, maybe you can just help us understand these by telling us, do you think any added advantages of dating someone who has experienced this?
Yeah, according to me, the way I tried it was not really good, but for some people it's good, because they will interact with people who are in upper countries. They can get sponsor. Maybe they can travel abroad. They can interact through social media, maybe Facebook, on Instagram, any other social media platform. But for some of the relationship through online, they are good. They will help people interact with people who are abroad, and maybe, for example, if someone were as uh, a friend there in the United States, maybe they want to interact through social media. They just interact, and maybe they can get sponsor like that way. But for me, uh, it's just like rain did not. I just try my best, and it was not good, but it's good for some people.
Wow, thank you so much, Abdul, for giving us your time right here on Morning Informant. And now, Ngonjo, as we were saying that as Abdul has told us,
Yes.
that it is not good, and he has had the experience, so he's speaking from experience, and that is a good thing.
Yes.
But now, Ngonjo, we have those people who still do background checks, and we also have in some other developed countries where the government has sponsored websites where it puts all the information about someone. So if it is Christine Mutindi they want, they put all the information about me. Do I have a criminal record? Sorry. Do I have a criminal record? What kind of a person am I? You know, in terms of paying taxes and all that.
Yes.
So this means that even if someone wants to look at the website, it is easy for them to know some of my background information from the website. But that is government sponsored countries and countries that are really developed. Yes.
And of course, I think that is not maybe in Kenya, but maybe it's likely we just have some of them. But you see, if you have such kind of record, it shows those are some of the serious people. I don't mean that the ones who are dating online are not serious for that reason. I'm saying sometimes you just find that most of the people doing this, they have not really disclosed who they are in reality. They just come to actually tell about themselves in your inboxes once you ask them.
Yes. And I have a comment here that says, good morning, Morning Informant. I am a psychologist and I have seen the worst cases of failed marriages that have come from online dating. And this is because it is very disappointing living with a man or a woman who looks at you and sees that you look different from your photos that you posted, and they have already started dating. And that is where I have seen most people disagree when marriages. Wow.
Yes, and of course, I have somebody else with me here. We're saying cyberspace harbors more psychos than you'll ever imagine or meet in the real world. So be warned, and so be warned is in caps.
And I have another one here that says, I actually like my photos and I am in reasonably good. I am in a reasonably good shape. Not the guys I have met on there, but most of the time, even if you post your photo, body shaming has crowded our social media. So this is what leads to people sometimes not liking online dating. Yes.
And I have Christoph and Melanie saying, good morning, Morning Informant. And he's actually saying that never meet your E-man or E-woman alone or in a private place, much less jump into a marriage before you know them well enough to trust them.
Okay, and someone else here. Good morning, Ngonjo and Christina. Okay, it's Christine. Okay, I'd go halfway on the second statement. And this is to mean that if you don't look like your profile pictures or the photos that you send once you're dating online, or you have started talking to someone online, you have started your conversation with a lying face. And that is Marcus watching us from Machakos.
And of course, I have somebody else here was just said, hashtag relationship Wednesday. Good morning, Morning Informant. I'm watching you guys from Kayole, Nyamavila. I don't trust online dating that much because it's dangerous to some point. And most of the people looking for love, that is love in quotes, are really jokers. Though kuna wenye ni genuine, but singling the genuine from the jokers is very tricky.
Yes.
In our days, we didn't have all these online things. Watu wangemeet one-on-one. Anyways, good luck to the ones dating online. That is hashtag Jackie B from Kayole Nyamavila.
And I have one here from Gashanja. She's saying, good morning, Morning Informant. Remember, salt and sugar look the same once put in a plate. So once dating online, you need to differentiate, meet in person and get to know the character of that person so that you do not lie to yourself. Watching from Sabaki. Yes.
And of course, I have a good morning Informant. My name is, of course, you didn't say your name, you just left it blank, but thank you very much. He's saying that while physical appeal, when it comes to the photos, these people post online in a good vibe. Maybe the first thing you notice about your E-man or E-woman, a terrible personality and horrible character can leave serious and lasting damage on yourself. So we better stop all these things and start meeting one-on-one, or even you stay single. There is no any offense in that. Thank you very much.
And I have David Shem. Good morning, Morning Informant. I am watching you from CBD, Nairobi. Thank you so much, David Shem.
Yes.
And those are just some of the comments that are coming in. But again, because it looks like time is running out, we just need to give you the tips or the pointers in staying safe once to date online. Yes.
And of course, as we had said earlier, and of course, as some of the people just told us exactly from some of the tips on how to be safe when it comes to that. And of course, I remember there is someone who just sent a comment, of course, saying that the internet dating scene can be dangerous to anyone too trusting or desperate to meet a partner. Of course, that is the first part of it as well. And you see, and of course, there is a different person as well who has really said that you should not meet this person in private. These are some of the safe tips on how to be safe when it comes to approaching these people. As much as you love this person, you're in love with this person, it's possible as well, and it's something that it's everywhere. But now, don't try this out. Of course, don't meet these people in private places. Why should you?
Yes, and again, just to have to give you the tips on staying safe while dating online, Gonjo. It is good sometimes if you have chosen to date online, you can just, but not your photo. You can just put a photo of a place, maybe the city of Nairobi. You can just choose to put a photo up. Just, you see, like the background that comes with your phone. We have the default settings.
Sure.
You can just do that before, because you don't know who you're going to meet or who's going to check your profile. And this is just in a bid of staying safe.
Yes, sometimes just try to be, but on the other hand as well, as much as we are having these, as from the comment section, we can see that the don't is allowed. Don't try this. Don't try this. We're not saying so, but we're just referring to whatever we have received as people.
And maybe we get to Imran and we get to hear his views as well about online dating.
Yeah,
Good morning, Imran.
thank you. Yeah, good morning to Christine.
So what are your thoughts or your take on online dating?
Actually, it has some challenge on some people, but and others it is good for them. Like a person who have never gone to school, like a person who's illiterate, can never be able to access for that online dating. But like some of the people who have studied, they can access for that online dating. Then it has some challenge, like people fake their life on the online dating. Like you find a person you have never met with him or her, she send a photo for you, then like
Yes.
she has used a filter. Then in real life, when you meet with her, like she look like something else. You find that the art is hard. So that's the biggest challenge we are facing on the online dating.
Yes.
And maybe Imran, if I can just ask you this as a person, maybe can you just encourage someone to date online?
No, I will never encourage online, but some circumstances I will encourage, like people who don't stay together, for example, I personally, I'm in Kenya, I live here, then I'm dating with
Yes.
someone who has gone to diaspora, then it will good for me to interact with her to date that online, but I will encourage that is 50-50%.
Yes.
Yeah.
And have you ever seen of a couple that has started online dating and now they are actually married and they are happily married?
Yeah, I have seen like a friend of mine, she was dating his neighbor who go to diaspora. Then they were dating on online. Then the lady came to Kenya and they got married. And that's how their life is continuously going.
Maybe heard of someone who has had the worst experience when it comes to online dating. Someone who had put, or someone who was not good, maybe a worst experience.
Come again, what have you said?
I'm asking if you have seen or yourself experienced a bad experience when it comes to online dating.
Yeah, I have experienced that. I was dating a lady for like 1 year. Then like she was sending for me a photo which she used her filters. Then when we meet in real life, that the lady was so black, like she was faking her skin color.
Yes. So what did you do about it?
Then like when I found that the lady she was faking her skin color, like I got disappointed on that relationship. Then I quit it.
Yes, we're very sorry for that. Thank you. Time. Those are
Okay.
just some of the
Yes,
experiences that we're getting, and you see Imran, he met someone who had changed their skin color. They were
Bleaching.
faking their skin color.
Of course, she met a grey brown lady. I'm just assuming, and only to I like the way he just put it clear.
Yes,
And
he was very direct.
He was very direct about that, and he said that actually I found this lady only to find that she was so very black.
In fact,
very black.
yes, and he said she was faking her skin color. So this is just some of the experiences that we are getting right here, and maybe we're just asking you, what are your thoughts on online dating this morning? We need to understand because it is prevalent right now.
Sure.
You know, and I remember it got to a time where people were using the term send money, send fare, tuma fare. You know, you go and meet someone that you don't even know, and you can't tell if this person is a serial killer. Okay.
Yes, and I think sometimes it's very funny just meeting. People are very funny as well, and that's why we are saying this thing of online dating is slowly becoming acceptable in our society, because people are saying that we're just moving with time. There is all this about technology, but we don't need to lose some of our cultures as much as we need to lose some of them, like the FGM and the rest of them. Some of them we don't need to lose them.
And of course, we will get to hear also from someone else. But before we do that, the tips we were talking about. It's good to meet in public in the first few dates. It is safe for you and for the other person, because maybe even you have a bipolar disorder that we don't know about, and you can go gaga in the middle of a date.
Of course.
So it is good to meet in a public place, and this will help in identifying the true character of someone.
Of course. Just meet in town, public, or anywhere where there is a people, maybe in a mall. In a hotel,
yes. And of course, and now we have a relationship expert, and that is none other than Mr. Henry.
Okay.
And Henry is here with us, and maybe he tells us his views. Good morning, Henry. How are you this morning?
I'm fine this morning. How about you?
Okay, and maybe you tell us your views about online dating, your thoughts.
I think it's a tricky platform, but it allows for people to connect easily. Like I can meet someone from Kisumu easily, but it's at the same time it does have risks, as it has security risks such as the people doing fraud using it. People can kidnap you using it, but I believe generally it is a good way for people to meet and mingle.
And
Yes.
maybe you tell us, yourself, have you ever tried online dating?
I have tried a platform of online dating, but I didn't okay. I wasn't drawn into it as much as meeting someone in person. Because while you're talking on someone online, you don't know you might not know who you're talking to. For example, you might be talking to someone via Facebook. Facebook, you can go to the
Yes.
messaging and maybe the whole profile is fake. It's even you're talking to a man and you're looking for a woman. So they might be trying to find sensitive information about you. It does happen. Let me just say.
That is interesting. I didn't see that coming.
Yes.
Yeah, it
And
does
maybe
happen.
Henry, if
So
I
you
can
do
just
find
ask
that
you, what was your experience as a person?
my experience. Okay. I did personally. I didn't like meeting. I prefer meeting someone face to face because it lets you know them firsthand. Like the vibe, you can feel the vibe when you know them first time, face to face, rather than via online.
Okay, and maybe from your experience, what would be a safe tip that you would give someone who's trying online dating? Because of course there's someone out there who just wants to date online. What will be a safe tip or a pointer that they can use?
If I could give advice someone who wants to do online dating, I can recommend mostly to restrain giving out personal information, mostly sensitive information like where you live, your family, your even your the kind of work you do. You can just be bleak about giving out such sensitive information is risky and can really cost you a lot. But generally, you can use the online platforms to know people. It's not a bad thing, but just be safe about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And maybe, Henry, do you think that there is anything that the government should do concerning this thing of online dating? Do you think that there is maybe something like a platform that the government can try to raise, or maybe some rules to actually curb this issue?
Um, I think the government can assist in mostly trying to um, monitor some of those accounts that have question marks, like their accounts have how can I put it? Yeah, they have very questionable accounts in that they are
Yes.
active a lot. Just something fishy about that account. I believe the account should be closely monitored.
Wow, thank you so much, Henry, for your time this morning on Morning Informant.
Thank you, Kristen.
And maybe, Christina, before actually we are taking the samples of just our viewers who are watching us this morning, who are joining us, really, maybe we can just have a look at some of the comments as well as they're coming in, just reminding them all that we're talking about. Maybe you've just joined us. Today is our Wednesday day where we just talk about relationship issues, and that is on Wednesdays. That is a hashtag Relationship Wednesday.
And now being 9 a.m., of course, we're just going to sample just 2 comments before we wind up the show, because of course we are out of a time right here, and we look at our Twitter handle and saying good morning, and they have the laughing emojis. I love how someone has just said that they just had someone who had changed their skin. Okay, and that is Imran right here, who said that they met someone who had tint, they had removed tint.
Of course.
Yes.
And that's something that has been happening. And of course, on my line this morning, I have someone who is saying, good morning, morning informant. All I can tell a person who wants to date online, I might refer someone to date, but please make sure you know this person, and your friends as well should be aware of this. There is nothing to hide in that angle.
And now those are just some of the comments that we are getting from our viewers, and that is you right there at home, or about online dating. But remember to be safe in as much as you want to try online dating. And now that marks the end of our show, and it is always a pleasure to have you here. Thank you to our viewers and to our sponsors, and that is AquaWorld,
Yes.
who are the best suppliers of mineral water. And if you want the best mineral water, please just try their website and just visit their website, that is aquaworldke.com, and you get to sample the best water there, and you tell that your location, and the water will be delivered to your doorstep. That is aquaworldke.com, or you can call in their number is 0716 007 075 0716 007 075. Have a lovely day. My name is Christine Mutindi.
And my name is Gonjo Maina. Bye bye.
Awali ni awali, awali mbovu hapana. Ndiposa tumejitosa kimasomaso ili